Let's see if this works. Holy shit! That might be too much heat. I wanted to learn how to build Minecraft Bedrock add-ons using their scripting APIs. So naturally, I tried building a hammer that yeets mobs into the sky. And this is my first Minecraft Bedrock add-on, actually, other than the basic cow from the Bedrock add-on tutorials, which went great, by the way. Oh, okay. So I summoned them, but they're invisible. See? What? I wanted to build something a little more complicated, something that honestly shouldn't even exist in the first place, but I figured skipping the tutorials and building something a little bit unhinged sounded like a lot more fun. Here's how it went. Just getting the hammer to show up in Minecraft was actually pretty easy. So, yeet hammer. This is it. And since this is defined here with an item texture, it should show up in the game. Give myself the JZims yeet hammer. Hammer of Yeet. There it is. Okay, I mean, this is a great start. We got it showing up in the game. I even made the hammer texture myself. I just recolored the mace with the same colors that an amethyst shard uses. And I'm kind of liking it, but pixel art folks, feel free to roast me on this one. So right out the gate, everything was working, except for the part where it's actually supposed to do something. I'm gonna need to figure out a way that I know when it hits an entity. And then when I hit the entity, I'm gonna have to apply some physics to it to send it instead of doing damage to it. And I spent way longer than I wanted to figuring out how to tell if my hammer had actually hit anything. Okay, these are all the things that can happen to an entity. Entity die, entity load, entity hurt, entity hit an entity. Hurt maybe, but I'm not trying to have my thing do any damage. Maybe it's on the player. Okay, well I can do when I interact with an entity. What does interact mean then? Get on this horse? Oh, interact is like that. Like I rode this horse. JZims yeeted Minecraft horse. Well, you know, the script is kind of working. Well, we just need to find the right event to subscribe to when I go like this. I struggled a bit, but I eventually settled on something called entity hurt, and it worked at first, but that choice came back to bite me later. Still, when I finally saw that message that my hammer had hit something, I felt like I was finally making progress. But now it was time to actually make this thing yeet something. So I used something called apply impulse, which kind of just shoves a mob in that direction. But I didn't have a good sense of what values to use, so I just kind of made them up. 0.5, that doesn't seem like very much a vertical. Let's just crank this to 5 and see what happens. Give it a little X too. We want it to kind of out. 1 and 5. Eat the target. Let's go. Let's see if this works. Okay, sheep. Holy shit! Where the fuck? Where did that sheep even go, bro? What? Oh my god. Hey, there he is. That might be too much. That might be too much heat. Okay, obviously that was a bit much. I wanted this thing to be a nice yee off into the sky, but I don't want you to lose sight of the entity because you should enjoy the yeet. Next, I spent some time trying to dial in those velocity numbers. Oh, God. Okay, that didn't do anything. All right, we're getting closer. Yeet, 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 yeet. We just need more on the X, so let's go back and crank the X. And eventually I got it feeling just about right, but there was still one big problem. Everything I hit was flying off in the same direction, no matter where I was aiming. I had to figure out which way the player was actually looking and make the hammer launch mobs that way instead of the same direction every time. Get rotation. That sounds about right. How am I gonna change degrees into an X and a Z? Let's log this and see what we're working with. Player dot get rotation. Oh, get view direction. That sounds more like it. I'm hoping will send it in the direction I'm looking. Let's find out. Look at that. Yeet. Yeet. There we go. Yes. Yes, we've pretty much got the yeet hammer, dude. I mean, we obviously have some small improvements that we want, but this is looking pretty solid. But as fun as this was, there are a few things I didn't get working quite the way I wanted. First, the add-on was yeeting absolutely everything, even if it wasn't the hammer that did the damage. The thing is, if I hit it with anything, it's gonna launch. I can hit it with this meat and it will fly. Remember that event I talked about earlier? Yeah, it turns out it doesn't tell you what actually did the damage, so I had no way to restrict it to just my item. Second, mobs were all taking fall damage, and that kind of kills the whole harmless chaos vibe I was going for. And third, I think this thing really needs a sound when the hammer hits, something worthy of a truly majestic yeet. Anyway, the Hammer of Yeet was never meant to be practical. It was just me messing around, trying to learn Minecraft development in the most entertaining way possible. And honestly, I learned a lot along the way and have no regrets. What do you think? Should I make these next? Comment Midas for a boots idea I have, or Cluck for chicken cannon. You decide. Thanks for watching. Go make something weird, and I'll catch you in the next one.